Alright guys, Jameson and Alex here. Today we're going to be talking about the Circle of the Blighted Druid, which is one of the new subclasses from the Taldorei Reborn book, which is made by Matthew Mercer with Critical Role. It is unofficial, so keep that in mind as well. Usually a little bit more tested than your typical unofficial stuff. All that being said, if you're new to the subclass series, what we're going to do is we're going to go through all the abilities, and we're going to rate it based on its roleplay value, combat value, and overall class synergy, based on how the abilities gained improve on the base class abilities.
That's right.
Also have our giveaway for the D&D Beyond Players Bundle. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to be entered in that. And today's video is sponsored by Hit Point Press and their friends at the Seeds of Decay Kickstarter. So make sure you check that out.
Is that any more perfect that we're doing Circle the Blighted Druid with Seeds of Decay?
I mean it kind of falls into play on here. So
was it originally planned? It just kind of worked that way.
Yeah, for sure.
Happy accidents.
Yeah, make sure you check out that Kickstarter, guys. It looks like it's going to be a good one. Don't want to miss out on that.
If you see the artwork for this thing, it's basically Plant Zombie Druid. The way the chick looks in this artwork, just soulless dead eyes and everything. It's like,
yeah. So, Alex, we'll jump straight into it. What do we get?
We get Defile Ground, which is the main mechanic this kind of whole subclass is built around and kind of buffs around what it gets moving forward. And it will start off at level 2. As a bonus action, you corrupt a patch of land or an area of water, and it's interesting that you can do water like that as well, and a 10-foot radius centered on a point within 60 feet of you. This corruption lasts for 1 minute. The corrupted area is difficult terrain for creatures that are hostile to you. Additionally, when the creature in the area takes damage from an attack, or a creature... Additionally, when a creature in the area takes damage from an attack or spell for the first time on a turn, takes an extra 1d4 necrotic damage. You can move this patch of corruption to 30 feet as a bonus action. Flying creatures are unaffected by the corruption. Starting at level 10, the area of defiled ground increases to a 20-foot radius. Additionally, the extra damage by your defiled ground increases to 1d6 at level 10 and 1d8 at level 14. Use the feature you can't use again until you finish a short or long rest.
Yeah, and just as a note on there as well, it is per turn, not just your turn. So it does help allies as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at level 2, also, we get Blighted Shape. Your physical form begins to show effects of the corruption you wield, tracing blackened veins across your skin, producing gnarled bony protrusions, or other eerie phenomena. You gain proficiency in the Intimidation skill. Additionally, while you are transformed by the Wild Shape feature, you gain a +2 bonus to AC as gnarled spines protrude from your body. Your beast also gains dark vision with a radius of 60 feet, or an additional 60 feet if it already has that sense. Then at level 6, we have Call of the Shadow Seeds. At 6th level, you learn to summon a feral children of the forest from the life force of your enemies. When a creature that is not undead or construct takes damage within the area of your Defile Ground feature, you can use your reaction to summon a blighted sapling in an unoccupied space within 5 feet of the creature. You can direct the sapling to make an attack against any creature within 5 feet of it as part of the reaction. The sapling then acts on your initiative, obeying your verbal commands. The sapling remains until it is reduced to 0 hit points until the end of your next long rest, or until you summon another sapling, at which point it crumbles into foul-smelling mulch. You can use this feature a number of times equal to proficiency bonus, regaining uses on a long rest, and the sapling uses the table statistics below, scaling based on your level and proficiency bonus. So taking a quick look at the stat block on here, we have 10 plus your proficiency bonus armor, so sure, that's all right. Not going to be anything crazy. Twice your druid level hit points. It's a little bit on the low side, I would say for sure. Damage vulnerability to fire, but it does have resistance to necrotic and poison, and blind, deaf, and poison immunities. Blind sight, which is nice, but low perception. It does understand the languages you speak, but it does not speak any languages. And proficiency bonus, sure. Also, something to note on here is at level 14, it can make 2 attacks, but they are only a 2d4 plus proficiency bonus, and it's your spell attack modifier. So something we've seen kind of recently is these scaling kind of pet creatures.
Yes.
So it kind of falls in line with those kind of things as well. But it's nothing crazy really here to.
Is it bad? The first thing I think of is like a evil, angry, dead zombie Groot baby. It's like what the sapling is going to be running around.
Definitely could be.
Like, I feel like it should be. That's just me. Anyway, back over here now. At level 10, we have access to Foul Conjuration. Any beast, fey, or plant, including your blighted sapling, summoned or created by your spells or class features, gains the following traits. Creature has immunity to necrotic and poison damage and to the poison condition. So you get resistance for your little baby sapling at level 6. By 10, he's immune to those damages, which is cool. Also, you have Toxic Demise. When the creature is reduced to 0 hit points, it explodes in a burst of toxic mulch or fetid viscera. That's a fun combination of words. Fetid viscera. Each creature within 5 feet of the exploding creature must make a Constitution saving throw against your spell save DC or take necrotic damage based on the creature's challenge rating. As an action, you can also cause a summoned creature to explode, immediately killing it. So if you had a little baby thing that was about to die anyway, you're like, it's surrounded by stuff, just blow it up.
There you go.
Damage, as a quick run through, if it's quarter CR or lower, it's 1d4. Half CR is 1d6. 1 CR or higher, a number of d6s of necrotic damage equal to the creature's challenge rating. So if you're summoning a CR3 creature, it's going to be 3d8 necrotic damage. And it also mentions the no challenge rating and number of d6s of necrotic damage equal to proficiency bonus. I think there are a couple of spells that just create a monster with a stat block or bring in something that don't have a challenge rating.
Yeah.
But I think it's just so there's something there to cover the emptiness of in case it doesn't label the CR.
Right. It is a little weird, but at least they covered that just in case it comes up.
Right.
And then last, we have the Incarnation of Corruption at level 14. Your physical form begins to take on the tainted traits of the land you're bonded to. Your skin grows ashen, your eyes darken or turn completely white, spines and jagged spurs emerge from your body, granting you resistance to necrotic damage and a +2 bonus to your armor class. Additionally, when you start your turn within the radius of the corruption created by your Defiled Ground feature, you can use a bonus action to gain temporary hit points equal to your proficiency bonus. And that is it. Those are the abilities gained in the subclass. So we'll just move straight on to the rating portion.
That's right.
First up is the Roleplay Value asterisk. As always, talking about Roleplay Value, we're talking about interacting with the world around you, interacting with NPCs, non-combat scenarios, avoiding combat, things outside of the initiative order, basically. Not talking about your class fantasy, history, lore, background that's on you as a player. Can't rate you, but we can rate the abilities gained and how they improve your potential in those role play scenarios. So, all that being said,
yes.
I mean, you saw the abilities. There's not really a whole lot going on in the RP department that's going to help you in different roleplay scenarios. I mean, there is some niche stuff here and there, maybe with the plant conjuration stuff. But it really is more combat focused.
Yes.
The only thing really on here that's definitely RP is the charisma intimidation skill proficiency. Other than that, you're going to have maybe some very niche uses with difficult terrain, maybe some niche stuff with the blighted sapling, but it's really more focused on the combat side of things.
Yeah, because the sapling, it does specify the sapling does last until it's reduced to 0 hit points. So even if you summon it in combat and doesn't die, it's going to follow you around until it dies if you summon a new one. So there's a little bit of help you can have with there. Yeah, for sure.
But all that being said, we just gave it a 2 on the RP.
Yeah. On the combat side of things, you're definitely more focused on if Jameson's struggling to find abilities that reach for RP, that usually means they float over to the combat side of things. It's definitely the case. Again, the Defiled Ground giving you and your teammates extra damage. The fact that it does scale both in its size and damage effectiveness is nice. Drawback is it's still not huge. A 20-foot radius, even its biggest size, is not huge, but you can move it, so that's good. But it's also only once per short or long rest. So, probably a once per combat thing. Normally you have one combat per rest, unless it's, little quick combats, then maybe you don't. So you gotta be smart with how you're using it. Blighted Shape. You're thinking, okay, when you wild shape, you get a +2 bonus to your AC, and you get additional dark vision. Well, okay, the additional dark vision helps you out more in RP, sure. And can be in combat if you're fighting out dark, just so you can see things further out. But here's the thing. Druids and wild shape. If you're not playing Circle of the Moon Druid, not Moon Domain Cleric, Circle of the Moon Druid, wild shape really is reduced primarily to being an RP-based thing. Yeah. Because it's the math ends up being, I think, 1/3 of what of your Druid levels, what CR you can form into, capping at it's CR. No, it's 1/8. It's 1/8, isn't it? Yeah, because at level 8 it caps at 1. Yeah, right. Because I think it's Circle of the Moon it becomes 1/3. Yes, that makes more sense, doesn't it? I'll get it figured out. But yeah, so my point is, what you're transforming into CR wise is going to cap at CR1 if you're not Circle of the Moon. Right. So that's at level 8. Yeah, that's at level 8. So
you're hitting that max Wild shape, real quick.
Yeah, once you get past level 8, you're really starting to feel like, is it really worth transforming?
Even at level 8,
combat? But,
even at level 8, a CR1, I mean, you're looking at like 20 to 40 hit points.
Yep.
And a low armor class, even with the +2 on there, you're looking at like a 14 to 16 armor class.
The ideal example is like the Dire Wolf. It's a CR1.
Yep.
Armor class is 14, would be 16, 37, I think, average hit points.
Yeah.
And you only got a +5 to hit.
Right. That's the thing. It becomes a very, if you're not Moon Druid, it's defensive. It's like maybe you just need a quick heal.
Yep.
So you just get some basically temp HP.
Yeah, just so you stay alive. If you're running low, everybody's kind of running low on hit points, you can kind of pop that way. But
offensive, it really falls off if you're not Moon Druid.
Yeah, of course, you get the Shadow Seed thing, which is cool. He doesn't do a ton of things, but he's something else that could soak up damage that somebody else doesn't have to. If you're fighting a creature that's not very smart, then eventually they do explode, and you do get it has resistances to certain damage types, and necrotic and poison fitting the theme very well. And also, I think the stress thing here is druids have a lot of conjuration spells, woodland creatures, elementals, things like that. And I think this really does lean you to go that way because it just, anytime any of them go down, they do explode. Even if it's not a ton of extra damage, it is extra damage. So it just kind of encourages you to conjure more stuff. Your DM will hate you for doing it. I look at my DM sitting next to me and the druid that's in our group all the time because like every time I would like to cast Conjure, I could just hear his voice and see his face go, fine.
As if combat wasn't already cluttered already.
Yeah. And of course, the final thing, getting with the Incarnation of Corruption, you're getting +2 bonus to your AC all the time, which is great. So basically, between your Wild Shape and this, you're always having +2 bonus to your AC. And if you're in your Defile Corruption, you get some temporary hit points every turn by using a bonus action. So with nothing else to do with your bonus action, you can get some temporary hit points. So it's not a ton, but it's a little bit of something.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of little things on there. I like the flavor they tried to go with here. I'm just not sure it's super impactful compared to some of the other things that we've seen in this book.
Yeah.
So score-wise, we end up giving it a 3 out of a possible 5. There's a lot of little stuff here that does kind of help out your survivability. You and the party get some extra damage in here, and that damage is movable. And you get an extra buddy in there to do some extra damage. And so there's a lot of little stuff that help you do things in combat, but there's nothing just absolutely like bursty damage or super powerful.
No pun intended. Bursting.
There is actual bursting damage, but not bursty as in like lots of damage in a short amount of time. But yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of little small things, and I think the biggest issue for me with the combat on here is the Defiled Ground is only once per short rest.
Yeah.
I'd rather have like X number of uses per day.
Proficiency bonus per day, maybe?
Yeah, something like that I think would be better. Because I like the scaling side better, but because sometimes you only get maybe 1 short rest a day or 2. So, I mean,
you're not getting more than 2.
2, 3 maybe uses a day. But the thing is, the whole Blighted Sapling thing is based on Defiled Ground as well. So it's just like you have like 2 of your abilities are tied together, and it's only once per short rest. So it kind of feels a little awkward. But and of course the explosion damage is very minimal. Yeah. I mean, you summon some conjure some animals, and you conjure like 2 dire wolves, you're doing an extra 2d8 necrotic damage. Yeah. I mean, 4 each.
Not much.
It's negligible. So it's really cool. Like Alex said, I like the concept of it, but I just feel like the numbers and some of the stuff is just off a little bit.
It feels. And I will make this comment. So I'm going to throw a little flame at Matt Mercer here. One of the comments I make in a lot of videos is when we're bringing out new content, does it feel unique? Does it feel like it's adding to there, or does it feel kind of forced to be extra stuff? This one kind of feels a little too close to like Spores Druid.
Yeah, it's like a mix between Spores Druid and maybe even like Wildfire. Because you got like a little pet thing going on, but you also got some like the little spore.
Because like even in flavoring, it feels kind of close to Spores Druid. I mean, mechanically, it's different,
right?
But like flavor wise, it feels awful close to Spores Druid to me.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, just my opinion.
Then lastly, we have the overall class synergy, and there's some niche synergy with the Wild Shape. But again, as we said, as you get higher level, it kind of falls off. Early on, getting that bonus to Wild Shape is actually pretty strong. That's something we didn't really touch on too much in the combat score.
Yeah.
It is pretty good early. But you start getting level 4, 5, 6, 7, it really starts falling off. Wild Shape does, if you're not a Moon Druid, like we said. And then the summon spells, I mean, you're a druid as much as the bane of my existence is. Summon and conjure spells, like...
He really hates them.
You're going to probably be using them anyway as a druid, so it just makes those a little bit better.
Yep.
And then the internal synergy with the Blighted Ground and the sapling is cool, but again, very limited with the amount of uses that you're going to be able to do with it. So we just gave it a 3 on the synergy as well. We're just I feel a little lackluster in this with the number side of things. Maybe we'll see when they do the Taldorei Reborn book 5 years from now, when they do the update again, that maybe we'll give it an updated score as well, because I feel like the concept is interesting, but the numbers are just off to me. But yeah, that's, I think, going to be...
It's basically like you compare this to, like, the Moon Cleric that's in here, as you definitely watch our video if you haven't seen that one yet. Does a better job of abilities that aren't you allowed to use them all the time, just being more potent.
Right.
Because if what you're looking for, to me, with a good functioning subclass is either you're really bursty, really potent for small windows, or you can do a lot of stuff all the time.
Right. Consistency or high impact.
Yeah.
Consistency, high impact.
Yes.
And the balance of that is what.
Yeah, and again, there's a reason why we've been working on our own class and subclass for a long time, and we finally got around to even attempting to play test the first subclass. It's freaking hard.
It is.
Again, I guess
balance.
We give our
especially when you do new classes entirely, because that's a whole new thing.
Which again gives us all the more, because we did our Matt Colville Illrigger stuff.
Yep.
Which another reason why we were so blown away by that is because you could tell it to me did the right amount of borrowing concepts from other classes that exist while creating its own unique mechanics and things from within. So it felt like it was part of the universe, but maybe in an unexplored area of the universe. So that's something that we're trying to work on again. So when we give our opinions on these, and maybe we kind of aren't as glowing about some subclasses as others, we understand like that it's uber difficult to make 2 or 3, let alone 8 or 9 subclasses for different classes, and try to get unique abilities that all balance out to be impactful but not be too impactful, and make it how RP or how combat's going to be. It's not easy.
Right. But all that being said, guys, that's it for today. Make sure you check out our sponsors, the Seeds of Decay Kickstarter. It's going to be a really cool one. You got over 60 new, unique, and scalable monsters. That in and of itself is cool.
It's pretty cool.
And then they got magic items, spells, races, classes, subclasses, brand new system for building contraptions and tools. So some very interesting stuff to check out on there. So definitely make sure you check it out. They are working with Hit Point Press as well, which, just that in and of itself, it means it's going to have some quality to it.
Yeah.
So definitely worth checking out that Kickstarter. Don't miss that one. And help support them, help support us. Always awesome. But yeah, guys, if you enjoyed the video, remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell notifications so you know when our new videos are coming out. Let us know in the comments down below what your thoughts are, what you want to see from us in the future.
Tell us why we're wrong, why we're right.
Also,
that's fine too.
Once we get through these subclasses on here, if there's anything else in the book you really want to see, let us know as well so we know what to move on to. And as always, guys,